His key to success is provided better service than expected ahead of schedule and stand behind it. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Jacoby.
Camera.
It's on.
It's over there. It's on. It's rolling. Being recorded. No, I just don't have the big tripod. See, that's yeah, it's a covert camera. All right. So today, going to focus on social media. Okay. The last time I presented, I did how to get your website shipshape, because one's relationship with Google should not be adversarial. Google is not trying to prevent you from getting on page one. In fact, if Google can totally understand and duplicate exactly what it is that you're going on about, you will rank highly for whatever it is you're going on about, okay? I was talking to an accountant client, and we were talking about what makes compelling content, right? It was like, what's compelling? You know, I do tax audits, you know, there's nothing compelling. I'm an accountant. Actually, for people that are looking for accountancy, all that stuff is compelling, right? Tax returns, all that jazz. All right, so I have a massive cheat sheet here, right? Just wanted to point out that even though Facebook has more total members than Google Plus gets more traffic per month than Facebook now. Google Plus now is larger, all right? And other ones not to be ignored are Twitter and LinkedIn. Now, Pinterest is somewhere in between Facebook and Twitter. Pinterest rather, is somewhere around 50 million unique visitors per month, okay? It's just I could not get a reliable number from the same company. I wanted to measure them all the same way. I could not get a reliable number on Pinterest. Now, Pinterest, which I'm not going to take up tonight particularly, Pinterest is particularly good if you do something visual. Michael Meyer. Pinterest is perfect for Michael, okay? If you're doing wedding fashions, if you're doing food or something else that's visually striking, Pinterest is actually a great way to get the word out on that. All right. But the ones you should be a member of, okay, is Google Plus, because they're huge. Facebook, because they're huge. LinkedIn, because it's finally B2B, which is what you're sort of looking for anyway, right? And the last one would be Twitter. Yeah, it's blogging with ADD, all right? But that also means you don't have to put in a tremendous amount of time. It's 140 characters of spaces and a URL if you want to include a link. Now, LinkedIn is set up so when you do a status update, you can also send that status update out as a tweet. You can also send it out on Twitter. Setting up accounts for both of those is free. It's easy. It's relatively painless. You don't have to give any tremendous amount of personal information. Okay, so I strongly recommend that. All right, so how not to spend all day goofing around with social media, because that's the downside. There are people now who will spend all day on Facebook anyway. Not because it's their job, just because that's what they do. That's how they roll. If you need to use it for business, I would say twice a week, maybe a half hour at the most each shot. So that's a total of 1 hour a week. To keep it nice and efficient like that, okay, you go onto Google News. You find a bit of information that's about your industry. Some new regulation that's come out, some technical breakthrough, I don't know. Some piece of news, right? You make a comment on this. You're introducing this news item, and you've got the URL from Google News for this news story. All right, so now you go on Facebook. You go to your business account, and you post this, your 2-sentence introduction with the URL of the news story. So what's your 2-sentence introduction? I agree with this because, I disagree with this because, something simple. You're just introducing it, right? Okay, then you put the news. So now you've commented. You've got the news story there. Facebook will reproduce the news story with the picture and all that, right, on your Facebook page. Now you hop over to your personal. From your personal Facebook page, you go over to your business page and you like the thing you just posted and you share it. Okay, that's important to do. Having a social media account, if that's worth 10 Google bucks, right, then posting stuff is worth 100 Google bucks. And if that's worth 100 bucks, then likes and getting likes is worth 1,000 Google bucks. If that's worth 1,000 Google bucks, then shares is the next step up. Sharing stuff is worth 10,000 Google bucks. You get the idea. So it's not just having an account and doing nothing. That's sort of like, oh, let's see, my parents, back in the ancient days, bought a set of encyclopedias, figuring that having it in the living room in a big bookcase would make me smarter. It didn't, okay? All right. So what you want to do, the goal here is engagement. You want to not just be seen by a lot of people, but you want to engage them. You want to start a conversation. The news is one way to do that, and another way to go is instead of the news, you could do your new video, your new promotional video. You go, wow, we're having a sale. And the same thing with a little, 2-sentence introduction. Oh my God, this came out great. Whatever you want to say. Well, listen to Ryan Knox's soundtrack on this. Whatever you want to say, and you go ahead and you present that video, starting with your business page. Then you go over to your personal page, and you like it and share it from your personal page. So now you've got 1 like and 1 share. You're off to a good start, right? And that whole thing, that whole process on Facebook, even if you did it as slowly as possible, it took 5 minutes, okay? You now do the same thing on Google+. Use 2 new sentences. Don't recycle the same sentences. Use 2 new ones. It's only 2 sentences. Everybody's got 2 sentences. So you do the same thing on Google. You start with your business, and you post it, right? Then you switch to your personal account, and you +1 it, which is the same thing as a like, right? And you share it, okay? So by doing this, you're starting off by engaging yourself. But what you're doing is you're priming the pump to engage others, okay? That's the idea. You want to have audience involvement, okay? That is where you're going with social media. Selling things on social media, dream on. It does not happen. Build it and they will come, does not happen in terms of build it and they will buy. You build it and start selling everybody, you're going to bore them to death, they're going to leave in droves. Okay? What you want to do is you want to engage people in some way. Well, how do we do that? All right, the way you do that is by being helpful. Just share your expertise. Do you have let's go back to the accountant, but he was so boring, what could he do that was compelling? He could give advice on how to keep more of your money and give less to the government and stay out of jail. And make it like a downloadable PDF or just some simple advice, some tips for, how to manage your money in such a way that you pay maybe a little less in taxes. People love that. Paying less in taxes, that's great. Keeping more of my money, that's great, So you're helping people, you're sleeping well at night, and people think well of you. You're engaging them, right? So when it comes time for that same person who is astute enough to take advantage of your good advice, when it comes time for them to get their taxes done or to get a profit and loss statement, they already have you associated in, mentally as being a cool guy in the field, all right? And that's what you want, or a cool gal in the field, all right? So there's lots of other stuff here that I'm not going to have time for. Feel free to look at this at your leisure. Should you lose a copy, if someone snatches it from you on the way out of here, you can find this on my SEO blog at NumberOneOnTheList.com. All right, it even includes my picture. Wow. No, sadly it was not. It looks like, it looks like a high school picture. If Michael had done it, it would, have given you some insight into my personality. But as it is, it looks like a high school yearbook shot. All right, so. Yes, I could. Here's a BNI internet campaign. So Brian Erickson builds a website, okay, and an app to promote your brand. All right, then Michael Meyer provides the perfect image that says exactly what it is you do. So you're doing a little more branding now with images, okay? Mickey Burns does a YouTube video that presents you as an authority in your field. I help you tell the world with SEO. You can go even farther with this. For instance, Jeff can use the same images that you've used on your internet campaign for flyers, postcards, stuff like that. He even knows ways to get these delivered bulk where you pay a way lower reduced rate from the post office. I don't know, you know somebody. All right, so there's that. There's a couple other strategies that are really good that I won't have time for today, but they are fortunately written down on this yellow sheet, you know, if you want to do this. One service that I offer to assist you is I sell consulting, and I sell it cheap, so I can come into your office and I can train your receptionist on how to do all of this stuff. Give it about 2 hours, that's a good start, and that's relatively inexpensive. Thank you very much.